Hello everyone, welcome to the Crypto Intel channel. Today we return to the Hbar coin and find out where the Hedera price might go next. Before we start the video, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and click the bell icon so you can always stay up to date on what's happening in the market. It takes you literally a second, but for me it's motivation to improve the quality and level of the videos on the channel. We have a lot to discuss, so let's get started right away. Right now, Hbar looks like one of those assets the market may be completely sleeping on before a potentially major move. What's fascinating is that while most traders remain focused on short-term volatility and weakness across certain altcoins, the fundamental story behind Hedera keeps getting stronger almost every week. And historically, these are exactly the types of periods where the biggest opportunities tend to emerge. The market gets bored. Attention shifts elsewhere. People stop paying attention. Meanwhile, the foundations for a much larger move continue building in the background. That's exactly the kind of setup that appears to be forming around Hbar right now. As of June 12, 2026, Hbar continues holding near an important support zone following the broader market correction of recent weeks. The pressure across crypto has largely been driven by macroeconomic uncertainty, ETF outflows, and a generally cautious environment among investors. But it's important to understand that Hbar's decline has mostly been part of the wider market trend rather than the result of any major negative developments within the Hedera ecosystem itself. In fact, the opposite could be argued. The news flow surrounding Hedera remains one of the strongest among large-scale infrastructure projects. One of the most talked about developments recently has been the continued progress toward regulated investment products. Kalshi is still moving forward with plans related to perpetual contracts tied to Hbar for the US market. Even the existence of these initiatives suggests that institutional interest in the asset remains alive and continues expanding. But honestly, the most important story right now isn't in the headlines. It's on the chart. When you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, Hbar has spent several months building a large accumulation structure. And here's the thing, accumulation phases rarely look exciting while they're happening. Actually, they're usually pretty boring. Price chops sideways, retail loses interest, people move on to the next shiny narrative. But historically, those long periods of accumulation often end with the strongest and most explosive moves. Right now, sellers keep running into the same problem. Despite repeated attempts to push the market lower, they haven't been able to establish a sustainable downtrend. Every meaningful dip continues attracting buyers who step in and defend key support levels. That's a subtle but important shift. RSI on the daily time frame remains in a healthy range and is nowhere near extreme overbought territory. In simple terms, if strong demand starts returning, the market still has plenty of room to run before technical conditions become overheated. MACD is also showing continued signs of stabilization after months of bearish pressure. Downside momentum is significantly weaker than it was earlier in the year, and the indicator is beginning to resemble the early stages of a potential trend reversal. Another area that looks particularly interesting right now is the institutional side of the Hedera story. According to several recent industry reports, enterprise adoption, real-world asset tokenization, and expanding ETF infrastructure are viewed as some of the biggest potential growth drivers for Hbar during the second half of 2026. Many analysts believe the market still hasn't fully appreciated the scale of Hedera's corporate presence, and that's a narrative worth paying attention to. Over the past few months alone, the ecosystem has received multiple major catalysts: Hashsphere, CLPR, expansion of the governing council, growth in real-world asset tokenization initiatives, and continued development of AI-related infrastructure. The important thing is that all of these developments continue moving forward regardless of short-term price fluctuations. That's exactly what long-term investors like to see. Another interesting trend is that more research firms and analysts are starting to include Hbar on their lists of promising infrastructure projects for the current market cycle. Several June reports have highlighted Hbar as one of the more undervalued large-cap altcoins with strong enterprise fundamentals and real-world utility. Looking ahead, the most important objective for bulls remains reclaiming and holding the 0.10 to 0.11 zone. This range has become the key battleground on the chart. A convincing breakout and sustained move above this area could create the conditions for a push toward the 0.12 to 0.15 region. And that's where things could start getting really interesting. But the bigger opportunity may not be measured in weeks. It may be measured in months. Today, Hbar still trades far below its all-time highs, yet the project's fundamental foundation arguably looks stronger than it did during previous market cycles. Enterprise partnerships continue growing. Institutional products continue expanding, real-world use cases keep developing, and the ecosystem itself becomes larger with every passing quarter. That's why more long-term investors are beginning to view the current period not as a disappointment, but as a preparation phase for the next stage of the market cycle. To wrap things up, as of June 12, 2026, Hbar remains one of the more compelling stories among large-scale crypto infrastructure projects. The price still doesn't appear to fully reflect the amount of progress happening throughout the ecosystem. Meanwhile, the technical structure is stabilizing, institutional interest remains present, and the fundamental foundation continues getting stronger. If the market eventually shifts back into full risk-on mode and investors start hunting for undervalued altcoins again, Hbar could easily become one of those projects that catches a lot of people off guard and delivers a much bigger move than most traders currently expect. Your plans, hopes, and expectations are for it. The best and most engaging comment will be featured in the next video. Just a reminder, friends, informational and news videos are posted on the channel every day, so you won't get bored here. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you're always up to date on all the latest news. And if you liked this video, please support me with a like. Your like is my motivation. Thanks to everyone for watching, and see you next time.